Hey, what is going on? Kind of a short one today. We'll do like 10 minutes of reading just like we did last time because we only have like a 40-minute class. So then there'll be some time. I'll talk about the essay, and then you can have some time to work on it and be out of here pretty soon, hopefully. So we left off right where the blue is. Hopefully, we had that good class discussion about what happened. Things are going to get real right here. So let's do it. We learned yesterday she ran out of minutes, right? So she's telling Sawyer, ran out of minutes, couldn't call you either. Top of the next column. Now what? Oh, he says, crap. I should have thought of that. He glances over his shoulder. I texted the tip online. Can't exactly call. We can get out of here. There's time. Sawyer grips my arm. No, we can't. It's changing. The vision, us being here, is changing it. Fewer gunshots, fewer bodies, down to 7. We have to stay and try to stop it. But what if the bodies are us? Jules, he says, and he grips my wrist. Remember how it was with you? You have to trust me. There's no time for him to explain. The cute guy clears his throat loudly and announces that it's well past 8. Sawyer gets a text message and responds quickly as we sit down at the table. I question him with my eyes. Trey, he mouths. My eyes widen, begging for more information, but Sawyer glances at the shooters and shakes his head. He puts his hands below the table and holds out 9 fingers, then one again. Oh, I breathe, relieved. Trey's calling the cops. Everybody continues to make small talk, top of the next column, except for the shooters who sit there, stone faced. From the doorway, the cute guy asks the students to finish up their conversations. He looks down the hallway once more and closes the door. Okay, everybody, settle. Sorry about the last minute venue change. The green room was too noisy with everybody coming back from break with all their luggage and parents and junk. He looks around the room and grins. I don't know if you know me, but I'm Ben Galang, freshman, next year's secretary of the Alliance, and this is my first time organizing a charity event. So, yeah, help a guy out, will ya? He laughs. Few people smile. Tough crowd, I guess. Okay, well, welcome to the choir's members, some of whom are already part of the GSA here at UC. It's great to work with you all and to see some new faces. He smiled at somebody on the other side of the room, and Sawyer and me, and at the shooters. So, yeah, they're all new, right? Sawyer, Jules, and the shooters. I can't smile back. I don't dare to turn my head to see who else is in here. I'm freaking out. I can't even focus on what this guy Ben is saying. All I can do is stare at the shooters in front of me, stare at the girl's black bag, at the bulge on the guy's hip, under his jacket. Top of the next column. I glance at Sawyer. He's sweating, watching the glass door. And I know from experience that one, he's watching that vision very closely. And two, all I can do is trust him and follow his lead because he's the only one who knows how this is all going down. And if I mess with it, I could change everything. I dare a quick glance around the room at the faces, all the faces that Sawyer has been seeing for weeks with bullet holes in them. But my mind can't even record them. They're all a blur of one victim's face. Sawyer's elbow touches mine, and I look at him. He points at the clock above the door. New scene, he whispers. Does that mean he knows the time this will happen? He points to the table and mimics flipping it. Then he points to the girl and looks at me. I nod. He scratches his knee and looks at me again. I swallow hard and panic. I don't know what that means. He points to their legs, his fingers shaking, and finally I understand what he's trying to say. I nod again, and then he spreads his hand out on his thigh, 5 fingers, and before I know it, he hides his thumb, and then his first finger, and then I realize he's counting down. And this is happening in 2, 1. The shooter girl pulls a gun from her little backpack, stands up, and whirls around, yelling. Now, I'm not going to say that word, obviously, but you can see what she says. Get to the back of the room. I think they say that word like another time here, too. The blonde guy follows her lead, pulling his gun out and shoving their table out of the way. But at first, nobody else in the room moves. Nobody understands what's happening. They're all in shock. And hopefully, we never, are in this position. But you can imagine, like, this is just so out of the ordinary that, like, what the heck is going on? I don't know if you've heard like accounts of people who have been at shootings or whatever, and they think, "Oh, I thought it was firecrackers going off or something like that." But I don't think your brain can comprehend what's going on when it's actually happening. So luckily, Jules and Sawyer, they know that what's going on. Maybe they can save some people. It all goes down in slow motion. Sawyer and I flip our table, trying to give others something to hide behind. Ben, small fading, turns to see what the commotion is all about. Sawyer springs forward from his chair, stays low, hops over the table, tackles the blonde guy at the back of the thighs, making his knees crumple. A shot rings out, hitting the ceiling light fixture. The whole row of lights go out, leaving us in semi darkness, and that wakes me from my frozen state. I dive from my seat and tackle the girl the same way Sawyer tackled the guy. She loses her balance and lands on my back as two more shots pierce the air and shatter my eardrums, along with a chorus of screams. Run, I yell from under the girl, pulling sound, top of the next column, from the depths of my lungs. Go, get out, run. I hear tables and chairs scraping and crashing, people screaming, almost everyone running for the door as a few more shots ring out. Sawyer gets on top of the blonde guy and starts pounding his wrist, trying to get him to let go of the gun, and it goes off again. But I can't afford to look at what or who it hits. I struggle to get the girl off my back, rising quickly to get my hands and knees to throw her off balance. I can feel her weight shift, and she teeters, grabbing my hair and yanking it, trying to hold on. I reach deep, finding some other inner strength, and try to buck her off me, digging my cast into the floor like a cane to push me up. So remember, she's got a cast on. She should use that as a weapon, right? And I'm not sure, like, I don't know why Sawyer is trying to hit this guy's wrist. Like, I'd be punching this guy's face or another place, maybe. That if you go back to book one, don't know who remembers, but I can't remember. Was it Rowan or like somebody told Jules about the meatball kicker? Right? Oh, and Jules has been. She might have some experience with being like assaulted. Remember, she was like mugged, I think, or in book one. I don't know if we actually saw it, but it was before she. It was exposition. I don't think we ever saw the mugging, but she told us about it. So at least this is not her first time being confronted with some violence. I know I would be in shock. I've never felt anything like this. I've never been mugged. Where were we? Oh yeah, we're somewhere up here. The girl, I think right here. The girl hits me in the head and she loses her grip on my hair and falls to the floor. I scramble aside and turn to look where she is. She kicks me in the face and I see stars. As she gets to her feet and starts screaming over and over, some horrible words right there, my cheek throbs. I try to grab her around the ankles, but all I get is her pant leg, which she rips from my grasp, taking parts of my fingernails with it. She stumbles off balance, top of the next column, and kicks me again awkwardly. I reel away from her kick, then try to catch her foot, but instead I trip over a chair and I'm back on the floor once again as she catches herself and stares at me like she hates me. I roll to my stomach and cover my face like a coward because I think this has to be the end of it for me, the end for me. I hear 3 gunshots and I don't know if anybody's hit. I freeze in place, cringing and crying, figuring she'd be shooting at me, but she isn't. At least I don't think so anyway. When I dare to look, she's grabbing Ben, who is stoically trying to drag a bloody person out of the room. So stoically, like no emotion right there. The shooter girl shoves him, makes him turn around to face her, digs the gun into his forehead, and backs him up against the wall just as Sawyer and the blonde guy rolling on the floor bump into me. I hear Sawyer cussing, trying to stand up, but slipping on a smear of blood, twisting crazily and falling hard. With the momentum, Sawyer manages to extend his arm, slamming it down across the shooter's chest. The blonde guy's gun goes flying. I get to my hands and knees and crawl after it, trying shakily to get to my feet, but the guy grabs me and yanks my legs out from under me, making me top of the next column, making me land hard next to him. I hoist myself up with my good hand, swing my cast around awkwardly to block his fist, and slam my knee into his groin before he can choke me. There you go. That's what I'm talking about, right? The the meatball kicker there. He grasps and shrivels up. Of course he is, right? I mean, if anybody has been ever kicked there, yeah, you can't really do much. His face telling me I nailed him just right and I'm free. But my muscles are in shock and I can't get them to obey. I roll around out of his reach, searching desperately for Sawyer. Sawyer's got blood on his face and he staggers to his knees, crawling around desks and chairs and broken equipment, trying to get to the guy's gun while I refocus on the girl with the gun to Ben's forehead as she screams in his face. And for the first time, I feel like we failed. I'm helpless to save him. I know he's about to die, and there's nothing I can do. No. I whisper, and I can't even hear the word come out because of the screaming. But Ben is silent, stiff, gun jabbed between his eyes, facing the girl and barely flinching. Something about his bravery gives me the weirdest sense of courage. And I grab the edge of the table and stagger to my feet once more. All right, so that is a good place for us to stop. I mean, it looks pretty bleak for these guys. Hopefully something happens with the 911 call, right? Of course. All right, that can't be it, right? They can't die. It does seem like at least somebody is very hurt. I mean, we're going to get to something tomorrow, but it does seem like at least people are hurt or they've been hit, shrapnel or something like that. Hopefully there's nobody on the second floor because it seemed like some bullets, if there is even a floor above them. I can't remember. They said fourth floor, but I think that got changed, right? We will